Hey guys, I'm Ariane, and this is
Chris?
all right. Well, welcome back to the channel. So today we are actually at another 200 plus unit apartment complex that we are under contract to buy, and we are again doing our due diligence, which just means physical and financial inspections of the property. Now, because we're actually here, this is a little far for us to travel, so we have to concentrate on mainly the physical due diligence, and that's inspecting the inside and the outside of the property and also the area. So today we're just gonna talk through like what we've found so far. This is day one. We actually have day two left tomorrow, and then we'll tell you what we're doing today and what we're doing tomorrow. So today we walked quite a number of units. We actually walked about half of the units already, and we've seen all the different layouts. One of the things we really like doing is just kind of thinking from the lens of a tenant when we go to the property, right? We look at how is the curb appeal? Does the property look appealing when you walk up or drive up? Right? Do I want to live here? If I was in the situation where I wanted to rent an apartment, would I want to live in this place? And so far, what we've seen is it's a really nice area, a really clean property. It's actually really well kept. The grounds are amazing. There's lots of nice flowers, and uh, it's all well kept. And they really did the current owner actually did a really good job at renovating the exterior of the properties. This property looks really, really nice and really, really nicely renovated. I love the colors, and from a tenant perspective, it just looks like this is something that is taken care of, and that means if I live here, I'm gonna get taken care of. What was your first impression when you walked up?
Yeah, so the driveway was very nice. It's actually in a nice neighborhood as well. So looking at the other housing and that we passed by on the way into the property, this area was hit by a hurricane relatively recently. So some of the properties still have some hurricane damage, but for the most part, all the yards are well kept. The housing, the exteriors are all well kept. It really seems like it's going to be a nice family friendly neighborhood. That's the kind of vibe I got from it.
Yeah, and it's so quiet. Like we're here, we're in the middle of the apartment complex, and it's just really nice and quiet. Like people are probably still at work or at school, and it's a little bit before 5, so they're gonna
Should get busy here pretty soon.
right
Yeah.
sure get busy, but it's really nice. The other thing I loved is the most of the units are renovated or partially renovated, and they really did a good job at the interior renovations. But they have nice white shaker cabinets. The completely renovated units have quartz countertops. They have luxury vinyl plank flooring on the floor. So as a tenant, again, like that's something I really like to see. Um, they have a huge
Walk-in closet.
uh, all of the units have a really huge walk-in closet, which is amazing for an apartment complex, really. But I was saying that they have a large area that can be used as a gym. Right now,
Oh, yeah.
it's just a really big open space. But we were thinking about adding that amenity to attract more tenants and make it more competitive with the comps. Now, speaking about that, comps, right? By comps, we mean comparables, and that means rental comparables. So, because we're trying to think like a tenant, right? Who would want to live here, and how can we compete with all the other apartment complexes they could rent? Because again, our goal is to make this a great property so that we can increase income and decrease expenses. That's what makes it a good investment property. And in order to do that, we got to give tenants what they want. And in order to figure out how we can get the most and the best tenants, we got to look at the competition, right? And those are the comparables. So we actually drove by some of the comparables. And Chris, tell us a little bit about what you thought about that drive.
Yep, so we took a lap, probably in a 10-mile radius from this particular property, looking at properties of different ages and different amenity mixes. And honestly, this property is very comparable to a lot of them, which is perfect because that means that we have targets. We know that if those units are renting for a certain amount, we should be able to get a similar amount for our units. And that's just like you would search comparables for buying and selling a house. We're doing the exact same thing for a rental unit so that we know where we can price our units.
Right. And that's one of the beautiful things about being here physically, right? Like we actually went here to this property and to this area so we can do all that. like looking on Google Maps and looking online on the reviews and all the pictures online is good,
It's not quite
but
the same.
yeah, it's not quite the same. There are things that you can't really tell unless you're physically there. Because sometimes the pictures look great, but when you go there, it's like, you
There's
know,
trash everywhere, and Google came by on a good day.
right, right. You see the perfect pictures, not what it actually is when the actual tenants come here.
It also
So
helps to come by at different times of day, so you can see, if you come by midday and there's a lot of cars missing, but you come back later in the evening and all the cars are there, you know that a large portion of your tenant base is working, and that's the type of tenants that we're looking for. So it's one of those extra gut check items. Also, after hours, if you find a lot of people loitering, it's not usually the best sign for a neighborhood. And again, we drive by these properties morning, noon, and night, just to make sure that we know what we're buying.
right. So far that's what we've done today. We've also talked to the current property management company, the leasing agent, and some of the other employees here to kind of get a good feel of the culture and what the tenants want and what's happened recently to the properties. We've had a good um, we've had some good findings from there. And then tomorrow we're doing more of a formal conversation slash interview with the regional property manager. So basically that's like the boss of, the way property management companies work, there are on-site staff, so that includes leasing agent or a general manager, and then the maintenance staff, and then they have their boss, which is the regional manager, who usually manages 5 to 10 properties between 1,000 to 2,000 units each. So they're the ones that kind of have a high level idea of the business plan, what the property is like, and they're the ones leading their team to make this property perform. So we're excited to have that conversation with them. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want more of this content, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you see our next videos. I actually have a playlist about multifamily and syndications up here, and then it'll be in the description below, so you guys check that out. We will see you at the next video.